Only the most skilled divers can navigate the waters to collect mysterious glowing creatures and deliver them to healers across the lands. Can you catch the embers of the sea in Noctiluca? Noctiluca is an abstract strategy set collection game for 1 to 4 players that takes about 30 minutes to play. It's designed by Shem Phillips and published by ZMAN Games. They sent us this copy to review. Let's look at the components. There's a double-sided game board, cards, dice, pawns, tokens, and more. Here's a quick overview of Noctiluca. On your turn, you're going to place one of your pawns on an open shore space, collecting dice, and then placing those dice on your cards. But any leftover dice that you can't use are going to get passed to other players. At the beginning of the game, every player gets a secret favorite card that will help with endgame scoring. They'll also choose 2 of 3 jar cards. The dice are placed out on the board with 4 dice on each spot in the inner circle and 5 dice on each spot on the outer. The tokens are also placed by color in numerical order, with the larger number on the bottom and the smaller numbers on top. Also, place out 4 face-up piles of jars. On your turn, you place a pawn on one of the open shore spaces and choose a number like 4, and then take all the dice that are 4s in a straight column from your pawn. You then place those dice onto your cards in the matching spots. Any leftover dice get passed to the next player. Once you complete a jar, you receive the top token that matches the color of the jar, and turn your card over for endgame scoring. Then take a new jar from the ones available. Play continues until all players have placed all their pawns, and then you clear the board of all the dice and pawns, and you place more dice back on the board. Then you take the first player marker, and whoever has played the last pawn in the first round gets this, and actually flips it to the 2 side, which is the last round of the game, and play will continue counterclockwise. At the end of that round, then players will count up their points. Whoever has the most tokens of a given color receives the remaining tokens of that color, but they're all flipped to the 1 side. So here, this person would get the rest of the red tokens. You'll get points from your completed jar cards, your point tokens, and then reveal your favorite card. You'll receive 1 point for each matching Noctiluca on your completed jars. And you'll also score 1 point for every 2 dice you were unable to deliver. And whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, this game is easy to teach, and it plays pretty fast, unless you have a player who takes too long deciding what number to choose from the row of dice. There are a lot of choices at the beginning of the round, but you can only have 1 pawn on each shore space, so the choices get easier as the round progresses. You're trying to collect lots of dice on your turn, so you're looking at the numbers on the dice on the board. But you're also looking at the colors, because that's what's going to help complete your jars. So that could be mind-bending sometimes. And when you complete a jar, you get a new one. So should you go after the small ones that may be easier to complete, or large ones that may have the color that matches your favorite card, that can get you some big points at the end of the game. And speaking of points, you want to collect majorities in the different jar colors. That will get you some points at the end of the game too. There was one game where Melissa was collecting the yellow jars, and no one else saw this, and no one else took any yellow jars. So at the end of the game, there was this huge pile of yellow jar point tokens for her. So I'm pretty sure she won that game. I really like the colors of the dice, how they're translucent, and the jar art is cool too. Some people that we've played this with wish that the game was a little bit longer, maybe more than 2 rounds. But I think this works really nicely as a filler game that plays in about 30 minutes. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy, check out Noctiluca from ZMAN Games at your friendly local game store. And we would love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House.